So, the Church of England's in the news again, and not for a good reason. The problem is with news stories that of necessity they're presented in ways that both grab the headlines and don't give much room for nuance. So, for instance, Church of England bishops say no to gay marriage. It's true, but there's nothing in there which tells you about the fact that our church is not at one on the issue of diversity in human sexuality, that there are deep divisions in the House of Bishops themselves, that we're trying desperately to keep the Church of England together, and that in fact what's most likely to be proposed at General Synod in a few weeks' time does represent at least half a stride forward. And no, it's not enough. And yes, I am disappointed that we haven't been able to agree on equal marriage in church. And yes, I know there's immense anger and hurt around, and that many feel vulnerable. And yes, I long for the day when we can get some resolution on this. But the reality is far more messy and compromised and painful, and it seems there's no way around this. Like it or not, there are polarized views in the church, and like it or not, we have to continue to work together and try and travel the same road. And actually, wonderfully, the Church of England doesn't have a magisterium whereby pronouncements are handed down from on high and we all have to accept them unquestioningly. In the Church of England, we do our debating in public and democratically, and it's messy and frequently bad-tempered, but it's also somehow authentic. We have to be honest and open about our disagreements, and crucially, we have to try and love each other through them. There are people who I meet with at General Synod who I disagree with profoundly, and I'm also very fond of them. And that makes it worse, not easier, because we know that what might be success for one view will represent defeat for another. So I take a few things with me into Synod in a few weeks' time. That compromise is inevitable, and it's not always a bad thing. That the people I'll be debating with and arguing with are my sisters and brothers in Christ. That there's no excuse for mudslinging and personal attacks. That we'll all have to account one day for our behaviour and failures in charity before the throne of grace. That we are in desperate need of prayer. That somehow we have to try to continue to sit together at the same table as church. For there's a world to love and heal and care for. That Christ himself expects both justice and mercy from us, and it is within those we most disagree with, just as much as those with whom we identify, that Christ is to be found. That all things pass, and ultimately all shall be well. And that we need your prayers, please.